You're listening to episode 62 of Fresh Floppies, where we flop them fresh.
Oh, God.
It doesn't always have to be pretty.
When I think about what you've become, I feel sorry for your mom. You say we're
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation?
Hey!
You're currently listening to Fresh Floppies,
And we're
a show where Noel and I, JD, discuss on New Comic Book Day, Wednesdays, the books of the day.
That are new on the day. It's
Yeah.
And unlike the last 3 years, they're all Wednesday now.
They are all Wednesday. That's true. For anyone who doesn't know, DC was like, we're going to be different and put our books out on Tuesdays, which sucked. So then they were like, you know what? Never mind. We're going to do Wednesdays again.
They were like, hey, this did suck.
Yeah.
But we're not going to say that. We're just going to pretend like it's a gift to you. We're Wednesdays now.
Same thing with Diamond. Diamond was overcharging all the retailers for shipping, and then they did us a favor after all the blowback, and they're like, you know what? We're going to charge you. We're not going less price gouging for shipping.
We should, if anybody that's listening is interested in the ins and outs of direct markets store, just let us know, because probably could
do a whole show about
about like the weird intricacies of comic book shops.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I thought I would be common sense, but a lot of people out there is like, they make really strange assumptions about how comics work.
Yeah.
Hey, Blood Hunt number 5 came out.
No. No, we're going to talk about the most important comic book that came out today. And
Blood Hunt's not the most?
No, it's the at least second or third most important comic book that came out today.
Okay.
And the first two most important comic books was this and its variant cover.
Okay.
What if Donald Duck became Wolverine? It's written by Luca Barbieri with art by Chiara Perissinotto, with colors by other Italians. Yeah, Lucio Ruvidori, Laura Tartaglia, and then it's just So this is corporate synergy.
Okay.
This is Disney homaging and directly referencing all things Marvel in the way that only they can, and by that I mean just hokily and sillily. This is very much a Donald Duck comic first and a Marvel comic second. Duckburg is being taken over by Pete Skull, which is the big Pete guy that's with a red face because he's Red Skull, and all of his weirdos. Donald Wolverine only wants to sleep, but because he needs to reheal himself, he wants to keep sleeping. But Hawkeye Mickey shows up and tells him that we have to take back Duckburg.
I'm already bored.
It's boring.
Okay.
But it's like a sweet kind of boring. Like I was just kind of going. The art is adorable. This is, if this wasn't cute, it would be devoid of creativity. Like it's just like, hey, we saw a cover of Mickey dressed up like Hawkeye, so let's just make a comic of it. And like we saw a fan art of Donald with doing the Frank Miller pose. Let's, I guess, make a comic of it.
Yeah. It's exactly how Spider-Gwen was created.
Kind of, yeah, right.
That one worked out.
Gwenpool too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There are some really fun little Easter eggs in here, like his healing power, his everything is just, he's ornery, he's rageful. Yeah. He goes through a process with, who's the doctor?
I have no idea.
This Gyro.
Dr. Gyro. Yeah, it is.
Dr. Gyro wants to help him learn how to calm down, so he puts him in this Weapon X looking machine, and he's like, well, okay, the first baseline is getting a parking ticket, and then he turns around and Donald is ripping up the equipment and shredding it with his claws. Like,
that's so funny.
There's a lot of really cute, fun bits in here.
Yeah.
It is so expressly for people that are either 8 or absolutely adore the Disney comics, the Uncle Scrooges, the Donald Duck stuff, because it is in that tone. The entire experience was worth it for me, with 1 2-page spread of Donald Wolverine, and he's called Donald Wolverine.
That's it. That's his name.
And
Donald
it's
Wolverine.
Mickey Hawkeye and Goofy Hulk.
Wow, they really
And
brought out the big guns for that.
Yeah, it was. But there is a 2-page spread of Donald remembering all of his previous adventures, and we basically get all of his costumes.
Nice.
And it is so
that's
cute.
That's
right?
a good double page spread.
It's really, really good. So, like, the art is wonderful. The conceit is really funny. For my sensibilities, the book is very boring.
Yeah.
But I can't help but be charmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next one is What If Donald Duck Became Thor?
Yeah.
I might read that also.
Okay.
Because I can't say I liked it, but I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put it down. So that's why I advocate to buy this as well as a variant cover. Those are the two most important books this week. The third most important book this week.
Blood Hunt number 5
Yes,
of 5 from Jed McKay, Pepe Larraz, and Marte Garcia. This wraps up the Blood Hunt event that's been going on for the past 2 months, 3 months? It hasn't been 5 months, right? This ship's more than 5.
It was like a weird schedule. I think the first 2 came out in May.
Oh, okay.
May or April,
that feels right.
And then there was a bit of a gap for the fill-ins, and then it was monthly. But yeah, it came out very fast.
This was great.
Yeah, right?
Every issue of this is great.
Yeah. I struggle a little bit with the scope of it, like I did with Beast World.
Yes.
Where it's a huge book, but it feels so small and contained at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like, I love the idea of these large events being almost in their own corner and they're not affecting all the other books. But then also, when they're not affecting the other books, they feel like it's just, oh, this is just an arc of Moon Knight. Oh, this is just an arc of, which is okay.
To be fair, though, it did affect other books. It wasn't just Blood Hunt and then Blood Hunt tie-ins. There were also issues of other series that were tie-ins. There weren't just miniseries, is what I'm saying.
There were 3 other books, actual monthlies that
Doctor Strange, Moon Knight,
and Miles Morales.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, and Miles Morales. That's
true.
A little bit of I think there was like 2 issues of FF.
Oh, okay.
That were explicitly the monthlies that tied in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was.
I like that.
I like it too.
That's the way it always should be. I don't want to see how what was it? Crisis on Infinite Earths. Back in the 80s, Crisis on Infinite Earths was, look, this is a tie-in, and you pick up the issue thinking it's a part of the story, and what happens in that story is nothing related to the book except, there's a red sky, because there was a red sky during Crisis on Infinite Earths. So I much prefer this. Only give us the main player books. I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's cool too.
Yeah.
My completely arbitrary consternation comes from the fact that I think that the main books in a market where you didn't have to do something big and splashy to just get people to pick up a new number 1.
Yeah.
This kind of story is the natural escalation of those ongoings. It doesn't have to be its own event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wish this was just as big as some of the books got, and it was fun. But I understand that that's also not fiscally possible in the current market.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a great fun event, but is it like Secret Invasion level where it changes the universe? No, it's just kind of fun. It's just really, really fun. The art's awesome.
It's a Blade and Avengers book, basically.
It's a Blade Vengers book.
Blade Vengers. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
There was some surprises in here that I like. Pepe Larraz, I want him to draw everything. Him and Dan Mora.
What's Pepe Larraz doing next?
What's that?
What's he doing next?
I don't know.
I want him to do everything.
By the way this ends, I'm hoping the next series that comes after this.
Yeah, this has a wonderful... So, I shouldn't like how this ends.
Right.
Because it does one of those things where it's just... It
leads into something.
In a weird way, it kicks the ball down the road.
Yeah.
But it's such a juicy ball. It's so juicy and it's so fun, and the way that it was seeded a couple issues ago... This is a cool effing book.
I had the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I like in another book this might piss me off, but I like this.
Yeah, this is Jed McKay crushed it. Very, very tight, fun event. It's probably going to read great in trade.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was awesome. Makes me want to coming out of this, we've got the Blade red label. Red bar. Red band. Red band.
There it is.
Blade Red Band miniseries.
I'll read it.
And then I think Doctor Strange is ending. There's 1 issue left.
Okay.
And then Moon Knight. Like, just follow Jed McKay after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really, really fun book.
I want more of Bloodline. She's cool.
You know what? That's something in here that I can kind of complain about. There's a couple of character arcs that happen outside of the main series.
Yeah.
So this really could have used a 6th issue. Like, take some of that stuff that happened in the Miles Morales book and or the Dracula 3-issue miniseries, put it in this book, because those two plot lines had to do heavily with the climax of this.
Yeah. I feel like you could even... There's been events in the past where they will show that scene again in the main book.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. Just give us a page.
Something.
You know?
The way that they dispatched... Sorry, good guys win. The way that they dispatched the threat seemed kind of out of nowhere, but then I was like, this was probably explained pretty well in those other two books. Yeah. Didn't hurt it, but it also was like, oh, I wish I would have seen that.
Yeah. If it comes out in a little omnibus, I'll read the whole thing.
It'll be a good... actually, it won't be little. It'll be a ginormous omnibus, because there's like 50 comic books associated with this. That's when they do
Doctor Strange, like the whole series?
No, when they do an omnibus, look at the checklist for this. It's like 52 issues with one-shots, 3 to 4 issue miniseries, the tie-in books, the 5-issue miniseries.
Oh yeah, you're right.
This will be a very, very thick book, not unlike Carnage or King in Black.
Yeah.
Where this is going to be a 150.
Okay.
Like, it's a lot of comics.
It was fun. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
You know what else I liked a lot?
Symbiotes?
I heard about this. Black Widow, Natasha. I almost called her Natalia. Natalia has a symbiote. And I was like, come on, do we need another symbiote? A hero with a symbiote? Maybe.
Black Widow Venomous
by Erica Schultz and Luciano Vecchio.
I think it's Vecchio.
I didn't care to read this, but I had a pretty good time.
Yeah, the only reason why I picked it up is because you said, hey, it's better than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I loved this comic.
Yeah.
This was so cool. So I don't know why or how Black Widow has a symbiote. It's the symbiote picks a name in this, and I don't necessarily want to say what the name is.
Sure.
Because I guess that's a spoiler. But it's a baby that chooses her and doesn't have much training or anything. So this issue really is just concerned with their interaction with each other, and Natasha feels the need to train the symbiote.
Yeah.
So inside her head, they do training sessions.
Yeah.
This is a awesome one-shot.
I was really...
Absolutely.
Oh, is it one shot?
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't sure if it was the beginning of a series.
As far as I know, it's just a one-shot.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is it a miniseries?
I assume. Yeah, next. Oh, no, maybe you're right.
Yeah,
because next, Venomous, number 1.
Yeah, this is just a one-shot. And then I think they're going to have, in the upcoming Venom War event that I don't intend to read, but maybe we'll sample for the show.
Yeah.
There's going to be a miniseries of hers.
But, yeah, I like the costume. It's cool. I like the way the symbiote presents itself as spiders.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like,
Black Widow spiders, yeah.
Yeah, I thought
like,
that was pretty cool.
There's a lot of really, really fun details. And also, too, I really love the idea of Natasha she's lived a life.
Yeah.
A hard one. And her conscious effort to train this thing differently than she was trained.
Yep.
Also, there are some splash pages in here that are insane.
Yeah, really good.
Luciano Vecchio is so good. I know that name. I just don't remember
Me too.
where. Like, there's a weird cross between
Tradmore.
Tradmore, and then I was also gonna say there's like a little bit of Pepe Larraz in here. There's there's even a little bit of like Marcos Martin in some of the facial acting. It is just a completely unique, fun style, and the coloring does nothing but help it. Like, this was I was not expecting to like this book so much.
Same. I thought it was going to be a toss.
This was really
away.
good. Erica Schultz is doing some really fun shit at Marvel.
She's a name that when I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give that a shot. The one issue I had was she's talking to the symbiote about how the symbiote doesn't have any training and needs to be trained. Mm-hmm. And she says, you need the Red Room. We can access your memories and learn from... That's not good enough. It's not the same. But then they wind up in her head the whole time. training.
I read that as the symbiote didn't want to train separately from her, just like, hey, we just have your memories, that's enough.
Yeah.
And she wants her to train separately from her.
Yeah, I was like, it seemed like, oh, well, I'll just train from your memories, and then they're in her head training from her memories anyway.
Yeah, I guess so.
See what I
I mean, they're doing it real time in her head, not
Yeah.
look at that last time I did that thing.
I'll just look. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be in real time, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was solid.
Yeah, simple
Pretty
shit
fresh.
too. There's a spot in there where like the symbiote alone has to be flexible and whatnot, and they're just like, by the way, if there's a body inside you, you can't bend like that.
I love that.
Like shit like that.
I didn't want to spoil that scene. I thought that was really cool.
I'm not saying who did it, but yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
it was really,
that's
really
cool.
good. Before we get to our next book, we have a email from Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight, and the topic of this email will probably clue you in as to what book we're going to talk about next. But either way, the Stepford Cuckoos, aka the 5-in-1, aka the 3-in-1. First off, yes, there were 5 in the beginning: Celeste, Esme, Irma, Phoebe, and Sophie. Irma is also known as Mindy.
Huh.
Just so you know. Sophie was the first to die in an attempt to stop Quentin Quire. Esme was killed by Zorn. Sophie was brought back to life by Quire, but chose to die again. Esme dies in the Chaos War, leaving just Phoebe and Irma and Celeste. Sophie and Esme are resurrected by Xavier and the 5. The other 5, not the Cuckoo 5. You know,
Yeah.
gold balls. It appears that all 5 of them are currently alive. 3 of them showed up in the TV show The Gifted on Fox. I was quite pleased when they did. Next to Armor and Dust, they are my favorite of the younger Lady Mutants. Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight.
Thanks, man. That was helpful. I didn't follow any of it, but that was helpful.
NYX featured the Cuckoos, and we on the show. We weren't sure how many were left or how many they started with.
Yeah.
So I guess we're back to 5.
All right, the 5-in-1.
And which means that the reveal at the end of the book, we both misread it.
We did.
Which is fine. Yeah. So thank you, Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight. He sent us another email, but that's probably going to be better off for our show tonight.
X-Force #1, Legacy issue number 291, From the Ashes, ... A New Beginning, X-Force.
Written by Jeffrey Thorne with art by Marcus Toe.
2?
I always thought it was Toe, but okay. What'd you think of this?
Let me start by saying any of the X books that we have read since the end of Krakoa have felt a little pedestrian after Krakoa. Now, I also feel that Krakoa ended a little pedestrian after Hickman left. It sort of lost all its sauce. But that being said, I don't care about most of these characters. Some of them I don't even know. Tank, no idea who that dude is. I remember Sage from Extreme X-Men by Chris Claremont. I don't know who's that.
She's later in the book. I already forgot her name.
Yeah. Forge has developed something, and that leads them to create a new team. And I found myself just pushing myself through it until about maybe the halfway point, when the thing that they're fighting becomes something else. And I enjoyed that, and I really liked how they wrapped up the issue. So by the end of this, I was going, oh, maybe I'll stick around for #2, because that was a lot more fun than I thought it was.
I'm not even sure what you're referring to. The thing that they thought they were fighting turns into something else.
The little things become a bigger thing.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, and the way they handle that, I was like, that's clever. I like that a lot. Maybe I'll stick around.
Yeah.
And Marcus Toe, too, is awesome. I like him a lot, too. Toe.
Yeah, the art is great. I share all the same thoughts, except I probably won't stick around for issue 2.
Okay.
And yes, all the X books so far have been fine.
Yeah.
They have been well done. They've been well produced. It's all like top tier talent, but it's all been kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like just safe.
Safe. That's it. That's it.
Of them all so far, what have we read? We've read Phoenix, this,
X-Men,
and NYX. Of them so far, the only one that I even consider maybe reading the second issue is X-Men.
See, I'm in for an NYX.
I'll try it and trade.
I could get team book.
It seems cute, but the only one that seems like large or stakes wise or I
X-Men.
shouldn't miss this
Yeah.
is X-Men.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying Uncanny. I'm looking forward to trying Exceptional, but I've been pretty underwhelmed or just whelmed.
I've
just
been whelmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also been whelmed. I am looking forward to what was just announced, which is a character in NYX. Laura is getting her own book.
Is it a
The all-new
miniseries or a
Wolverine.
book?
I'm not sure. I just saw
Or an
the
ongoing?
image of
Oh
it.
yeah, Alyssa Wong. Yeah.
Yeah, Alyssa Wong. What
Yeah.
else? What did she just
Dr.
write?
Aphra,
No, just recently.
Deadpool. She did
Something
Deadpool,
else.
or they did Deadpool for a little while.
Okay.
Um,
It's Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
right.
loving her Captain Marvel that's
Yeah.
going on right now. It's dope.
Yeah, I it's the same sentiments with this book. It is. I had to push through the first half. It's a lot of jargon. I'm not sure. Even though Sage name checks herself in the text boxes, she's the one talking. I still forgot it halfway through because it's so dry.
Yeah.
There's no.
Which makes sense for Sage.
But also if that's your introductory character that you're glomming onto,
Yeah.
maybe not the least engaging person.
Yeah.
It's just.
The most robotic.
This was fine. It's incredibly well done. Didn't scratch my itches, but there's a lot of promise here, and I do like the general conceit of he's got this machine that tells him where the basically the where the world is cracking,
Yeah.
and he's gonna go plug the holes.
Yeah.
And it's like a moving target. I think that's cool, and the idea of a rotating cast. Because one of these characters doesn't show up in the second issue, another one does. So like you've got your main 4 or 5.
I didn't catch that. That's kind of cool.
You've got your
Rotating
main
cast is a good idea.
You got your main 4 or 5, and then there's like a guest character each issue,
Oh yeah,
which
there
is which is kind of a fun idea.
That
So
is cool.
there's a lot of promise in this book, but I can't say that I was super excited
Yeah.
while reading it. So it's fresh enough.
Yeah.
Fresh enough.
Yeah. Safe is a good word.
But honestly, too, though, I did feel the same way about some of Jeffrey Thorne's other work. He did the rebirth relaunch of Green Lantern, the Jon Stewart book, not the War Journal,
Okay.
the one before it.
I didn't bother.
It was a couple issues in, it very overwritten, very dense, just kind of like. If somebody described this to me, I probably would dig it.
Yeah.
But just the experience is a little.
Sloggy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fresh enough. I want to hang out. Oh no. We're gonna hang out. Hang out.
We're gonna hang out.
Okay, go ahead.
Grommets, number 3 of 7 by Rick Remender, Brian Posehn, Brett Parson, and Moreno Denizio, is basically a slice of life comic from the early 80s of these kids in Sarasota, California. They are skaters, and they're just living their lives, and that is it. That's what this book is. And I haven't enjoyed 2 or 3 as much as 1,
Yeah.
but I'm still digging it. I'm like, this is it. We were talking about comfort reads.
Yeah.
Someone had asked about our comfort reads, and this kind of like I settle in, and it feels comfortable. I like it. Like I like everything that's happening, and it's just like a coming of age tale.
Yeah. This issue was better than the second one for sure. Yeah. I'm
Still suffers from a little bit of the same problem, but not as much of the name checking.
Not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he just says like pitfall level 2 is fine.
Yeah.
Not I can't get past pitfall level 2 while I'm eating Taco Bell on my Commodore 64
Yeah.
in my grandmother's basement with wood paneling. You remember?
Yeah.
Like it's not that.
Yeah.
There's a whole you're like a wonderful process page of creating a bong out of a old can, which is I don't know why this is just done so incredibly well.
Yeah.
Like
The art's fantastic.
that's the star of this book is Parsons,
yeah,
Parsons,
man.
right?
Brett Parsons?
Absolute. Like
Brett Parsons.
the script isn't even mattering right now. It's really Brett Parsons. I could do this textless. It's so good.
Yeah,
it
the
is
acting
so
is
good.
great.
And
The
the way
staging
that
is fun.
the way that they've so you have a couple locations in this book, the school outside, but when they get to the arcade, the coloring and the lighting changes dramatically in the exact same way that it is dark inside of an arcade.
Yeah.
All of this is just so well done. The stakes are so low it's silly. but not
huge to them.
Yeah.
That's what, when I was this age, these stakes were gigantic.
That's what I mean. Like it's
looking back, it's like, come on.
With that said, though, there is no spine to this book yet.
Right.
There's
no
just
overarching.
It is just people being people, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I hope that just the vibes will sustain us for the 7 issues. I like. Well, I think it's Brian. Brian is the one with the braces. He's got a lot of shit going on. I want to see him work through some of that shit and not just another issue of getting high.
I feel
not just
like
another.
I was about to say. I feel like that's the spine is him and his family.
Let's focus a little bit more on it because Rick is compared to between the two of them. Rick is privileged. Rick doesn't have the same kind of problems that Brian does. Mm-hmm. We just keep ignoring it 3 issues in, or I want to explore it. Yeah. It doesn't have to be TV movie of the week. I just want to see him work through it. Yeah.
I think we'll get there.
I hope so.
This fresh AF still for me.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful book. Yeah. You know what else is fresh AF?
I do know. I do know what it is.
Which one?
Okay, so generally Spider-Man is my first go-to whenever top of the stack, right?
Top of the stack,
as they say. And
who says that?
Comic readers.
Oh yeah, top of the stack.
Us.
Yeah.
And the options were amazing and ultimate. I understand that the world at large loves Ultimate Spider-Man. But for me, the first book that I read is Amazing. Mm-hmm. The Amazing Spider-Man, number 54, Legacy issue 948 by Zeb Wells and McGinnis. And
there's
a whole bunch of names. Morales, Van Grawbadger.
Ed McGinnis, Mark Farmer, and Marcio Wait. Oh, Ed McGinnis pencils all of it. My bad. He pencils all of it. He just has 80 inkers. Mm-hmm. Oh, sweet.
This is so dumb. And it's a little supernatural. It kind of doesn't make sense.
It makes so much sense.
When you take someone's sins out of somebody, I didn't realize that created a whole persona of sins.
I mean, when your sins are as big as Norman's, it's
as you're
sentient.
a Green Goblin.
Yeah.
I guess because he has always talked to himself as if it was a different person, and the fact that they could just take that person out of him, I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with it. But then also the ghost of it.
But that was because of the Winkler device.
Oh, that created.
His sins went into the Lady Goblin. What's it?
Queen Goblin.
Goblin Queen. Her sins went into the Goblin Queen. That happened. And then from the Goblin Queen, because of the Winkler device, became a little bit more sentient in their own thing and then moved back and forth. I still don't understand what the Winkler device even does. It gives memories, or it reintroduces memories or something like that. Because
it does brain stuff.
Yeah. Because it was connected
changes your head canon.
It was connected to the Ned version of Hobgoblin, and Ben wanted it for a while to recapture his memories, right? So wishy-washy, supernatural / sci-fi. Now the Green Goblin is a manifestation, a persona manifestation of all of Norman's previous sins. So there's a lot of it. You can just be like, well, I guess his sins have a personality now. There's a lot of hooey-fooey that's happened between then and now that make it a little bit more plausible, and as much as plausibility as this shit gets.
I thought, I'm trying to find it, and maybe it was a different book, but I thought for, you're talking about science plus magic, there was like a phrase, techno something, and I thought they actually used a phrase that explains that whole thing. It's like part technology, part supernatural magic stuff.
I don't know.
But maybe that was Blood Hunt. Anyway, go ahead.
With that said, this book's fucking awesome.
I love this book.
So awesome. Also, too, this issue 54. So it was announced that the Wells' run is ending at issue 60, and then they were like, "Oh, the last arc is a big Tombstone arc," which was seated in the very first arc, so it makes sense.
Bookends.
This issue is a wrap up to pretty much every other storyline.
Yeah.
Like the two biggest storylines that were happening during this run is the Norman of it all and the Goblin of it all, which also brought in Kraven at times, brought Ben in at times, like blah blah blah. But then also Tombstone.
Yeah.
So we're getting like all right, this is done. All the questions you had about Norman, all of those emotional climaxes happen in this book. This was very fulfilling, and I loved it. And now we're just going to focus on the Tombstone stuff.
Yeah.
This run fucking rocks.
I was surprised. I wish it felt like they just didn't need to do that. At the end of this book, it says "the end," which made me go, "Oh, I guess that's the end of Wells' run." But then I read like the Amazing Spider Mail, and it said, "Oh, he's going to issue 60." I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's not the end. Okay, cool, that's fine."
It's the
It's like, just take that page out. It's not the end yet.
maybe the people that hate read this will drop it.
Yeah.
After seeing that,
and
we don't have to hear about that shit. But yeah, we get all of the Peter at Oscorp plot lines that have been going on since the very first issue of this book are nicely wrapped up, and I was very happy.
My one regret.
Nope, no regrets are allowed.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Is that the next issues will probably be John Romita Jr. and not Ed McGuinness.
Oh yeah, it's already announced.
I want Ed McGuinness to be drawing Spider-Man all the time.
Well, he is after.
Is he?
Yeah,
is he doing like the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man?
Yeah, so the which is weird how they did it. The first announcement of what's happening after this, they literally called their shot. A 10-issue story by Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland, Ed McGuinness, and Gleb Melkinoff.
No idea.
He's done a lot of cool stuff.
I've heard that name.
Yeah. But then they announced it again of just Joe Kelly and Ed McGuinness, and they didn't say if it was limited or not.
Huh.
So I suspect it is limited. They're just not going to say that. And the Justina Ireland and Gleb Melkinoff stuff is backups.
Gotcha.
Right? Because that doesn't make any sense if they just completely get rid of 2 of the creatives.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get a starting in November. If the book still is bi-monthly, which I can't see them not keeping this bi-monthly, we'll have 4 or 5 months of an in-between creative team until the next long run starts. Who do you want to take over?
Kelly Thompson.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. She's doing like 5 DC books.
Yeah. You didn't say who will.
All right,
who's able?
Who feasibly do you think should that intersects with what you want? This is a bigger question.
That's Jed McKay.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Right?
He's doing well. Yeah,
he's been killing it.
Yeah, he's on Avengers, Moon Knight, 2 Moon Knights right now. Right, 2 Moon Knight books, Avengers, and X-Men, and he's dropping Doctor Strange. Probably not bi-weekly.
Has Mark
Amazing
Waid ever
Spider-Man.
written Spider-Man?
I don't know, but again, he's DC now.
Okay.
Huh.
Who do you got one?
Oh no, I don't have an answer to that question.
Oh, you know what? Maybe Shauna McGuire. I liked her on Spider-Gwen.
I didn't read any of it.
Oh. Well, go to hell. What do we got? Are we done?
Well,
no, we're not done.
We're gonna stay on the Spidey train.
The second one I read after Amazing Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man number 7 by Hickman and Cicchetto and Wilson. This is good. It's fine.
This book is awesome.
Tell me why.
The entire explanation on how their suits work and what they choose to do with it is borderline brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The fact that... How do I want to explain it? The fact that the suits and themselves have this weird autonomy to have an AI.
Yeah.
On the page, it creates a cool dilemma. Or in the context of the story, it creates a cool dilemma / extra. As the reader, we might get real-time thought balloons and text boxes that'll help me talk through stuff in scene.
That's what I figured
which
it was
is
for.
a beautiful device, which is just so incredibly cool. I'd like the idea of having the thoughts real time within the story versus a function of the book is just rad.
Yeah. I won't pick I won't spoil who the voices are, but it's neat.
Cicchetto's back for you. He came back for you.
That's a big pull, man. The artist who was drawing the last couple of issues just wasn't doing it. It wasn't it.
There's a couple of panels in here where if you would have told me this is Alex Maleev, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I know. Yeah, like the two of them in their suit and stuff. Look at me.
Oh, okay.
It's just, but it's still beautiful Chichetto art, and so my biggest problem with this book, which is a book I love and I have a really good time reading it, is I like the idea of each issue being a month. There's a month in between each issue.
Yeah.
In the time of the book, so you it's not really a continuous experience. It's we're gonna meet, like, jump in on these friends again.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept, but it's starting to feel like broad strokes of a better story.
Yup.
Yeah. So I would love it if they abandoned this after like 12 issues.
Yes.
I want to spend a little bit more time. This feels like the big broad strokes are like a wiki page of the stuff that's happening in this world, as opposed to like, what's the Kingpin really up to? What's going on here? Oh, that's an interesting last page reveal. Are you just going to tell us what happened a month ago in the next issue? Because it loses a little bit of its narrative momentum.
That's one of my big problems with the book. Is it's a neat idea. In
Not
real time.
Not a problem with Ultimates so far, though, because Ultimates has so much stuff kind of going, and in that story, Dennis Camp kind of showed you what happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then we're here now. It's filling the gap, which is better for me versus this just like, here's a month later.
I didn't realize that Ultimates was a month later. It's a monthly book?
All of them are.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All of them are a month later. Black Panther, it's a month in between, and they talk about, like, you've been gone for 2 weeks. What are you doing? Like, it's part of the context of the story, whereas this is the only one that's just July.
Here you go.
August.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jump in.
This is the only one that feels a little bit colder than the others. Yeah.
That's sort of what I think my problem is with Ultimate Spider-Man. Not that it's really a problem. I like that it has a different vibe than Amazing, but it does feel colder compared to Amazing.
The further away that we get from his like family dynamic stuff too, it definitely the last 2 issues we have only focused on like Peter testing stuff and playing with Norman, not Norman, sorry, Harry.
Harry, yeah.
And the adult stuff, not his kids stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would rather read. It's gonna sound harsh. I would rather read J. Jonah and Ben putting together their publication, the paper. Yeah. I would rather read that. But I get it.
Yeah,
it's Spidey.
It's still good. Yeah, but it's just, and I just don't think it's as good as everyone says it is.
I think it is.
Seem like the second coming.
I think it is as good as everyone says it is or thinks it is, but those people also don't read as much as we do.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, being able to compare and contrast this to something a little bit more immediate that is just as emotionally fulfilling, so you're able to kind of feel that, this one's a little bit more arm's length than this one. It's just comparative. Yeah. Still good. I wonder how it's going to read in trade. He designed this book to be monthly. Yeah. And it's not really super working. Yeah. I wonder what it's going to read like in a trade of like, this was 6 months.
Yeah. I do like the thing at the end where it references how much time it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's it. Is that it? Did we do it?
Yeah, we did it, man.
All right. Tonight we're going to be talking about Deadpool Wolverine.
Some small movie nobody really
Wolverine
cares
Deadpool?
about. Yeah.
I forget how it's called. So we're going to be talking about it on the live stream, 8 o'clock YouTube. Join us, or else.
Or else what?
Or else don't.
Or else a doorbell will smack you in the face.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.